to learn more. A message brought to you by Adopt U.S. Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
You are listening to the home of Milwaukee's realest conversations. 101.7 FM, 1510 AM WGKB Waukesha and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station.
It's time! It's time! It's Beta time!
You are watching a master at work.
Truth Nation, get ready for the greatest 60 minutes in radio, giving you his authentic and bold opinions, bringing you all the information, entertainment, and conversations you gotta hear. From local issues to trending topics and headline news, it is time for Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth app, 1017thetruth.com, and streaming live on YouTube. Now, live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in the heart of downtown Milwaukee, here is your award-winning host, Kyle Wallace.
Truth to Power here on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth. I'm your host of Truth to Power, Kyle Wallace, and we're coming to you live from the American Family Insurance Studio in downtown Milwaukee at the 3rd Street Market Hall. You can call in, text in at 833-212-1017. Again, the Truth Talk and Text line is 833-212-1017. That's where you can call in and you can text in to share your thoughts on today's show. In addition to that, you can watch and stream us live on the YouTubes by going to 1017 The Truth on YouTube. That is 1017 The Truth on YouTube. You can give us a like. You can give us a share. You can give us a subscribe so you don't miss any of the award-winning 1017 The Truth shows. I was gonna say shout out to my producer Rhea. Shout out to my producer Rhea Riley holding it down the ones and the twos.
Hi y'all.
And shout out to y'all, Truth Nation. Now, before I came down here, I had somebody was asking me about my availability for something. I'm doing some stuff with the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association in February, where I'll be hosting one of their events for the college students and high school students up at Lambeau Field. And so they're asking me, can I do something else? And then we got to talking about the cast of characters that I used to work with. Y'all remember y'all remember working with somebody in marketing here, and who was a little bit crazy.
Elaborate.
The woman.
That could be anyone, Kyle.
Oh, y'all, you don't remember? Remember the one that had Ben and Carrie talk about they was on the spectrum. Y'all remember that?
No.
You don't. Y'all remember that?
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Zach, you remember that, right? She probably had Zach out here too, thinking, "Am I different? Something wrong with me?" But yeah, we're just going down history, thinking about the different folks. I'm dead ass serious when I say that this person had Benjamin and Carrie Noni sitting here. Well, Benjamin was like, "Man, ain't nothing wrong with me." Had Carrie over here drawing and tracing, saying, "This is the way that I am able to handle myself."
There was a breath away from scheduling a doctor's appointment.
Man, I said, what has this woman done to y'all? Person done to y'all? But good times, good times. Again, make sure y'all watch and stream us live on YouTube. 1017 The Truth on YouTube. Before we get really into it, happy birthday, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I know we celebrate his day on Monday as we observe the holiday on Monday, but today is the birthday of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And, you know, just so grateful and thankful for his legacy. I know sometimes it gets watered down when people talk about his legacy, and I never forget during 2020, during all the protests, I remember this white woman who I'm friends with on social media. I know her. I mean, we cool. We see the world very differently, but we cool, whatever. And I never forget, she was like, what would MLK say about this? I say, MLK got popped. So what are you talking about? What are we talking? Y'all love to bring up MLK. MLK was peaceful and y'all still killed him. But y'all love to bring up MLK. So as we get ready to celebrate Dr. Martin Luther King's legacy, he made a lot of inroads for our community to be able to have the equality that we have here today. But with that being said, Truth Nation, off the top, there's a story that I do want to touch on that I know people have talked about it, and I haven't talked about it quite yet, but I want to hit on it now. This is Truth to Power, Kyle Wallace, off the top.
Woke up this morning. You got yourself.
Y'all know what time it is. It's time for Off the Top on Truth to Power. Kyle, let Truth Nation know what you got to get off your chest today.
Truth Nation, so the Corey Stingley tragedy is one that I have not had the opportunity to really talk about just because, it happened years ago, and his father has come on multiple times onto 1017 The Truth. But the story always bothered me. It always bothered me because of the fact that I never understood how a man who, yes, a young man, and actually a boy, because that's what he was 16, had committed a crime and he got caught. Corey Stingley committed a crime by attempting to steal some liquor or whatever it was, some beverage worth a couple of dollars, and he got caught. And when he got caught, they took the stuff out and he tried to run and some people grabbed him. He attempted to flee after getting caught with a couple of dollars worth of booze, and 3 men held him down and eventually killed him. Now, did these 3 men intend to kill Corey Stingley? I would like to hope and I would like to think that wasn't the intention. That would be awful and evil. But at the end of the day, their actions did indeed lead to the death of a young teenage boy in West Dallas. Now, you are not being a good Samaritan when you kill someone over a couple of dollars worth of liquor. You're not. And I don't believe it is your place to interject and jump in and try to save the day in a situation like this. Now, I believe they made a terrible judgment decision in trying to restrain and stop him from fleeing, because at the end of the day, I know it was a terrible decision because it cost that young boy his life. Now, I will not say that I hope that this eats at these men, because at the end of the day, that's not for me. I'm not going to put that type of energy out there for people. That is between the Lord or whoever they pray to and them to deal with the fact that they murdered somebody. But on Tuesday, there was news that broke about charges being brought in this case, which initially, I think if you are like me or like anybody else that was familiar with the case, we all celebrated the fact that finally, after years of feeling like we weren't getting justice in this case, and feeling not so much we, but the family was not getting the justice they deserve, we randomly found out that news broke that these men, 2 of them now, because the third one is no longer with us, but 2 of them were going to be charged in the death of Corey Stingley. We all were excited, but there were just so many spotty details out there. There wasn't enough information for us to be like, okay, yeah. I know for me, I said, well, I can't talk about it on Wednesday because I don't have enough of the information like that for me to be able to go here and speak confidently about what is actually happening. But then yesterday, sometime during the day, there was more information that got put out there. And go to 1017 The Truth on YouTube to hear the WISN 12 story behind what actually is happening in this Corey Stingley case and what Corey Stingley's father is actually seeking in this case. Go to 1017 The Truth on YouTube for the WISN report. We're trying to get the volume going up here. You see, we don't know what's wrong with the volume. All right then. Well, we don't know. We don't know what is Rhea. I think it's in it's the blue lines is showing, just so you know. Well, who knows? Well, anyways, until Rhea can get the volume situation, maybe Rhea, you got to hit the thing over there to the right. Look at me trying to coach me. No, one more to the right, girl. Yeah. Maybe try that. So we'll see. Though, as they troubleshoot that, as y'all can see on YouTube, basically what it is the fact that in this situation and in this story, Corey Stingley the killers of Corey Stingley, because that's what they are not really going to be prosecuted. And in this case, it actually is one of the cases where basically that the father found something where these guys can actually just be held accountable for the murder of Corey Stingley. But the thing that is so odd about it is the fact that they came to an agreement. Tony Cotton, the attorney for one of the guys, they came to an agreement with the family to say, okay, we are going to be held accountable for these actions, and with us being held accountable for these actions, we're going to be charged with this, but they're not going to spend any time in jail. And they're claiming that it's going to be, for 6 months, they're going to be on probation type thing where they can't do anything within the 6 months. And then after that, they do community service, and then it'll be wiped clean.
Will make their...
Oh, there it is. Well, there's the WISN story. You got it, Rhea? All right.
2012 death of 16-year-old Corey Stingley will make their first court appearance tomorrow. Stingley died after customers tackled him and held him down inside a West Dallas convenience store for trying to steal alcohol. The Milwaukee County District Attorney at the time did not file any charges. Dane County's DA reviewed the case, and this week, prosecutors charged 67-year-old Robert Buringer and 39-year-old Jesse Cole with felony murder, false imprisonment. A third man involved has since died. Buringer and Cole plan to plead guilty in court tomorrow. The Stingley family, prosecutors, and defendants all agreed to the resolution after a process known as restorative justice.
Basically, it involves all the parties getting together and discussing what happened, the tragedy that took place, the trauma that everybody's endured, and then through a structured process through the Marquette Law School with the oversight of a professor, if you will, who's involved in it, everybody reaches an agreement on how to appropriately resolve a case.
And in this case, what resolution was reached?
The resolution that was reached is that charges would be filed, which is represents a form of accountability, obviously, for my client to accept responsibility on that. The agreement contemplates a deferral for 6 months. And during that time, there may be some community service. There may be a donation to charity that would be made. But ultimately, at the completion of 6 months, assuming no new criminal charges have been brought against either of the defendants, the case would be dismissed.
Well, there you have it. There it is. WISN 12, Tony Cotton, the attorney for one of them, is letting you know that though this may not feel like real justice, this sounds like something, again, that the families came together and decided that they were going to do. And I'm happy that his father was able to at least get something, right? His father was able to get a sense of accountability that he's been seeking for 13 years in the death of his son. I know how long he has been fighting to try to get some type of justice in the situation. And if this is something that he feels that is just, then you know what? Who am I to tell him not to? People are being held accountable. Now, do I not agree with people being able to get off on what I believe is murder? And when I say murder, intentional murder, no. But involuntary manslaughter, that seems to be something that we should have saw in this case. And they are so quick to make an example out of black folks when it comes to the court system, but they're hesitant when it comes to making examples out of other people. I remember when John Chisholm, the former district attorney of the city of Milwaukee, or I should say Milwaukee County district attorney, I remember when he said he didn't have enough, he can't, there wasn't enough intent. It just seems to me that when it comes to certain people, and I'll go back thinking about Edgecombe, who was being chased on his bicycle while he was in a car, and the guy got out the car to attack him, and out of fear, he shot the man. Now, he was a terrible witness or person that was going to be attacked. But it seems like they made an example out of him because they wanted to make sure that somebody who was an attorney, one of them, like as in the gentleman that sadly did get killed that day, was an attorney, and it seemed like they wanted to make sure that he got justice. I wish they would approach everybody the same way and making sure that people get justice. Because at the end of the day, it's not our responsibility as civilians to play Captain Save or you know what. That's not our responsibility. There are stores that legitimately are out here that people can go and steal stuff from, and the employees are instructed not to go and pursue them. They're saying, hey, if they take it, just let them go. They're not asking for customers to go get them because of the fact that there is a risk of a customer getting hurt, an employee getting hurt, or even the person dying, and then you have a whole bigger situation. That is exactly why in this scenario, these gentlemen should have just let Corey Stingley leave with no items. If they would have let him leave, he would be alive today. But in addition to that, nothing would have been stolen. No loss prevention whatsoever because they didn't lose anything. 833-212-1017. I do have a question for y'all. Do y'all believe justice was served in the case of Corey Stingley? With the men in Corey Stingley's case being charged to do community service, basically, do you think that is justice for that young man? What message does it send to other people? And that's my biggest thing, is the message that needs to be sent is that regardless of whether or not you have malicious intent to harm somebody, your actions ended up harming somebody. When somebody is driving and they end up hitting somebody who's in the crosswalk because they didn't see him, I don't think they had a malicious intent to try to kill the person with their car. I just think it was an accident. But people get hit with involuntary manslaughter all the time. I just think it sends the wrong message to people who want to go out there and save the day. And I think this should be a lesson for people to say, you know what, sometimes saving the day ain't worth it. It's really not worth it. It's not worth it because you may lose your life or somebody else may lose their life. I have a friend that I went to high school with who is a really stand-up dude. And he did something that I would never do. He saw a young woman get her purse snatched, and instead of letting her get her purse snatched, he ended up pursuing the purse snatcher. And in that pursuit, he ended up getting shot. And his life was forever altered by that decision that he made. Well-intended, brave, very much so, but at the end of the day, probably a decision that he would probably take back. Life in the world is entirely too dangerous out here for people to be risking their lives. And in this case, in this scenario, a child was killed. Because I want you to understand, there wasn't no grown man that these dudes jumped on. This was a 16-year-old. A 16-year-old that was killed. Now, again, though I may disagree with this being the end result, I'm happy that the family has found some type of resolution that they feel comfortable with moving forward. Because the most important thing is that they feel at peace. I couldn't imagine the stress, the anxiety, the things you have to go through, losing your loved one, losing your son. You have all these dreams and imagination of what you want your young child to grow up to be, and then to have it snatched away just like that in that type of instance where it was preventable, that has to eat away at that family. So this is why I said, listen, we need to make a bigger example out of this because no one should ever have to die that way. 833-212-1017. Brian, Milwaukee, what are your thoughts on today's conversation?
You know, initially, I thought this was a good thing. And salute to Craig for getting something for himself. But going forward, the decision to say that there was no intent is racist at best. If based on what I heard, the guy that had his arm around, at the minimum, the person that had his arm around Corey's neck, intensively squeezing it, should be charged with first-degree murder. Should have been charged 13 years with first-degree murder. Should definitely be charged with first-degree murder now. Okay? Intent starts when you do not take your arm away from around the person's neck. That's where you breathe. That's where life starts. That's true. And that's where life ends in the neck. So the other two gentlemen, if they're not the ones that had their arms around the neck, okay, so be it. But the piece of you, the POS that had his arm around the neck, if he's not the one that passed away, he is the one that needs to be charged with first-degree murder. The other two, I can let them walk away with the 6 months BS. But the rest of this infuriates me. This is setting an unhealthy precedent for any other. And I've got 7 black kids, and they've got kids. I've got grandkids. I got to look at this in the future. If one of my kids, God forbid, gets choked out by somebody, and they're saying they're doing something that's safe to help somebody else or help some corporation or help some business, I got to worry about 13 to 15 years down the road. Yeah. There's somebody coming up with some BS like this saying, oh, well, we were just trying to do something. We didn't intend it. No, your intent started when you had your arm around Corey's neck.
I agree, Brian. I 100% agree, and I think when you look at cases like Devontae Mitchell, the individual that was murdered outside of the Hyatt Hotel, I think there's just these instances where folks get away with certain things. Again, I can't speak to what exactly was the intent of these gentlemen. But one thing I can agree with you, Brian, on is the fact that you are absolutely right. When you choose to continue to apply pressure, and when somebody tells you they cannot breathe, and again, I don't know if he said I cannot breathe, but when somebody starts to be motionless and stops moving, like at a certain point you have to understand that I'm going to harm this person. And once you are going to harm somebody, you have to make the right decision to withdraw and step back. You are not law enforcement. You are not. And the fact that it took 13 years, and again, I don't know what all of a sudden made them have this aha moment to say, let's negotiate this and let's figure something out. Maybe it's been eating at these gentlemen for the last 13 years. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm right there with Brian. I fully understand from a young age, being a wrestling fan, of what choking somebody can do. Everybody understands, especially if you watch wrestling. In wrestling, DJ Brother, I don't know if he's over there, but when you choke somebody, even in wrestling, they have you pick the arm up and watch it drop. If it drops so many times, they passed out and the match is over. Like, you understand what that chokehold can do. So I don't believe it is a good excuse to say, oh, well, he didn't mean to kill him. Well, he understood when you choke somebody, that could lead to that. But 833-212-1017. I see your calls. I'll see your texts as well. Do you believe that this is justice being served for Corey Stingley and the Stingley family, with the men in the Corey Stingley case being charged but only having to do community service and also only basically being on probation for 6 months? And if they do nothing for 6 months, all is good. 833-212-1017. What message does this send to not just our community, but a lot of communities? Again, 833-212-1017. This is Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace. I see your texts. I see your calls. I see you on 1017 The Truth on YouTube. Y'all can give us a like and give us a share. But on the other side, we'll take your calls. We'll take your texts. But it's Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace.
More of Truth to Power is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com. Need a way to hype up your day?
This is Lorenzo.
Lorenzo, you just won $5,000!
What would you do with $5,000?
That's sweet for a couple months.
Yes!
There you go.
Yes.
That just made me happy.
Stay tuned into 1017 The Truth for your chance to be entered into the Gruber Law Office's 5K giveaway. For contest rules, visit 1017thetruth.com.
Can we hold something?
Y'all holler back at y'all.
I got money now.
Hey, Journey team, it's me, Coach Erica. Happy New Year. Are you ready? Because the time is now to begin your journey to success. This is your season to level up. Keep striving, keep pushing, and keep doing. No more waiting. No more excuses. Your journey starts today. For more information or to connect with me, visit EricaOdomJourney.com. That's EricaOdomJourney.com.
You served behind the desk.
You served in combat.
You did 4 years and got out.
You were drafted.
You gave 20 years.
You gave exactly what your country needed.
And so did you.
When you raised your hand and swore an oath to your country, when you put your name on a dotted line, you became part of only 1% of Americans who did the same. You are a veteran.
You are a veteran.
You are a veteran. Because no matter when, where, or how you served, you made a sacrifice for your country, and you deserve support.
If you're struggling with life after service, don't wait. Reach out.
Reach out to a loved one, to a fellow veteran, to VA.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
This is Truth to Power on 1017 The Truth app, and streaming live on 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
Life's better with a home and auto policy from American Family Insurance. That's because their agents will help make you feel totally protected. Also, you're free to enjoy your dreams. Insure carefully and dream fearlessly with American Family Insurance. Get a quote or find an agent online at amfam.com. That is amfam.com with American Family Insurance. It is Truth to Power here with Kyle Wallace on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. I am your host, Kyle Wallace. And again, I'm coming to you live from the American Family Insurance studio at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee. You can call in, text in to today's conversation at 833-212-1017. You can also watch and stream us live on YouTube by going to 1017 The Truth on YouTube. That is 1017 The Truth on YouTube. Where you can give us a like, you can give us a share, you can give us a subscribe, so you don't miss any of the award-winning 1017 The Truth shows. And there's some interesting conversations that are happening inside of that 1017 The Truth YouTube chat. As we are discussing the Corey Stingley case, and Craig Stingley, the father of Corey Stingley, has been fighting hard for many years to get justice. Hard for many years, because if anybody who has seen the video, you would understand why you would just be lost in trying to understand how no charges were brought. In my perspective, in no world is it okay to try to steal. But stealing happens. People steal all the time. And typically when people steal, either they get away with stealing, or if they get caught, then they scamper off. But we are talking about a young boy who was a high school student who more than likely had the police, had he gotten caught, the police would have came there, he would have gotten a ticket. And maybe he would have did community service. He wasn't doing no jail time. I never forget the one time when I went to, it was like a pick and save. I forgot which pick and save it was. And I remember I was, kicking it with my boys, and one of my guys' friends, he was with us. And we in the liquor store, pick and save liquor store. I'm just, I'm kicking it, we hanging out. And all of a sudden we walk out the store and he say, look, and he shake out his pants, a whole bottle of liquor. I said, wow, that was slick. Do I think that man should have died because he stole a $30 bottle of liquor that day? Hell no. No. And that's what it comes down to for me is you have to have some sense of judgment of right and wrong. And them men were entirely too old not to understand that what their actions were doing did not fit the crime. It didn't. It is not their job to hold down somebody and kill them. That's just not what they're supposed to be doing. So whether it's Joel Acevedo or this case or what I said with Devontae Mitchell, it just seems like it's too many times where people use a little bit too much force, or I should say a lot of bit too much force, that in the end result where people are being killed over nothing. Devontae Mitchell was killed over going into the women's bathroom when he was having a mental health episode. Joel Acevedo was killed from being held down after trying to steal some, or according to them, take something from the police officer's house. And now this is another example from years ago where you're seeing Corey Stingley get killed over a bottle of liquor, Eric Gardner being killed over some Lucy cigarettes. Like, it just seems to me that, that these people being killed over these things just don't add up. It don't match up to me. Death should not result from trying to go in a women's bathroom. Death should not result from somebody stealing a little bit of liquor. That doesn't make sense to me. 833-212-1017. You can share your thoughts and comments on the Truth Talk and text line. Al in Sherman Park, thank you so much for calling in. What are your thoughts and comments on the Corey Stingley case?
Hey, Kyle. Well, I think this particular outcome highlights the concerns that people who are more conservative on crime have about restorative justice and justice reforms that in some cases involving death, serious injury, or reckless endangerment, that some of these cases are being resolved too lightly. Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure that they're teaching the lessons that they need to teach, particularly persons who pick up handguns and then commit a crime, and then the DA drops the gun charge. That is just becoming too light and permissive. So when we say we're conservative, these are the outcomes that we're trying to avoid, where people get off too lightly for very serious crimes.
And Al, I appreciate that. And the one thing that I will say is that I agree 100% with Al. And the problem that I have is that Al is showing you a level of consistency in the way that he applies this scenario in this situation. And the issue that I have far too often with too many folks is the fact that they'll look at this situation and they'll take it case by case. And because the person that committed the act looks like them or thinks like them, all of a sudden they want to take it a little bit lighter. And I don't think that's fair. So I appreciate the fact, Al, that you actually looked at this situation and you said, well, no, this is what we're fighting for. If we're fighting for the DA's office, especially here in Milwaukee County, for them to stop doing these lighter charges for these folks who are committing these crimes. The fact that, kids can do certain things or young folks can do certain things and end up back on the streets. It doesn't make sense to me, and it doesn't make sense to people like Al. So I'm right there with Al. But you can also, again, you can text in on the Truth Talking text line at 833-212-1017. And on the Truth Talking text line, I done turned my screen off on accident. That's crazy. But on the Truth Talking text line, Courtney says, there are two lessons, and it depends on which end of the spectrum. One lesson is about absolutely not worth stealing anything because you could lose your life without due process. I'll say that again because you are absolutely right, Courtney. There are two lessons from this, and it depends on which end of the spectrum you're on. One lesson is the absolutely not worth stealing anything because you couldn't lose your life without due process. Let that be a reminder to so many different kids, especially young black kids, is because these folks look at young black kids and they already look at them from the lens of they age advance them. You can be a 12-year-old, they think you're 16. You can be a 16-year-old, think you think 21. And then in addition to that, when they see you, they don't see you as being a kid. They see you as being mischievous, up to no good. And I've talked about my personal experiences when me and my boy was hanging out in Whitefish Bay where we went to school at, and we were simply just middle schoolers. Somebody stole from Bayshore Mall, and the police pulled up to me and my 13-year-old friend, maybe he was 14, I might have been 13 or 14, whatever it was, and said we fit the description of what they were looking for. Now, thank goodness, one of these mamas, one of these liberal mamas out there was right there, and she put a kibosh to it. She put a stop to it. She said, no, you're not finna harass these boys, not in my presence. So we were protected in that instance. But since we was two black kids inside of Whitefish Bay walking around with our friends, and they claim we fit the description of stealing stuff, even though we had nothing in our hands. We had to deal with that at a young age. And the other lesson that in this text message she says, the other lesson is that you can kill someone and get away with it without any consequences. There is no justice in this decision. I agree. I 100% agree that there is no justice in this decision that came down. But again, 833-212-1017. That is the Truth Talking text line. Char will take your call here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. What are your thoughts on today's conversation?
I think one of the main things people need to understand about the so-called justice system in the United States, number one, it's for sale. Number two, it depends on what you look like and how much money you have. And what happened, and the people don't need to forget, what happened why Chisholm didn't charge those people because he thought he couldn't win the case. Not because it was injustice, not because it was a crime committed, but he thought he couldn't win the case. And so these people have their own agendas, their own politics. Had it been, opposite a black person tackling a little white person, he would have tried it anyway. We really need to understand that, and I'll leave with this from Langston Hughes. Justice is a blind goddess to which we blacks are wise. Her bandage hides to festering stores that once perhaps were eyes.
Thank you so much, Char, for the powerful words. I mean, I just feel like this is such a controversial topic simply because of the fact that we saw it with our own eyes, but it seems the consequences don't match what we saw. But before we go to break, Truth Nation, the award-winning 1017 The Truth is the proud home of the Milwaukee Panthers basketball. Panthers basketball is back in action tonight as they come home to take on the Oakland University Golden Grizzlies at the UWM Panther Arena. Scott Wars has the cover starting tonight at 5:30 p.m. on 101.7 The Truth and the Milwaukee Sports Network from Learfield. Tip-off is set for 6 p.m. This is Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace. We'll continue the conversation on the other side, talking about the tragic death of Corey Stingley and the fact that did the family finally get justice with the fact that these men are charged, but they only are going to get 6 months of probation, and during those 6 months, if they don't commit a crime, they'll be completely wiped of the crime, and they'll have to do community service, even though a young 16-year-old was murdered 13 years ago. I'll take your calls. I'll take your texts. We'll go into the YouTube as well, but this is Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace. Keep it locked because we'll continue this powerful conversation next.
Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace returns after this on 101.7 The Truth app, and streaming live on 101.7 The Truth on YouTube.
Our children deserve a real chance to make it in life, and a good education is a passport to opportunity. At City Ford Collective, we're working to make sure there's a great Milwaukee school for every Milwaukee family, because more good options lead to better outcomes. And who doesn't want that? Together, we can give every child the foundation they need to thrive, and a stronger future for kids means a stronger future for Milwaukee. To learn more about our mission, visit us at cityfordcollective.org. That's cityfordcollective.org.
Here's a dose of reality. Driving under the influence of prescription painkillers is just as illegal and just as deadly as driving drunk. In fact, there are nearly 2,000 drug-related crashes every year in Wisconsin. Help prevent drug driving, and let's achieve zero preventable deaths on Wisconsin roadways. Driving on pills kills. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Departments of Health Services, Transportation, and Justice.
I slept in a lot of different rooms, different beds, but none of them really felt like mine. I spent 14 years in foster care, mostly in group homes. And I never had much left because I always had to be ready to move. Why get things if you just have to let them go?
There are more than 100,000 children in foster care waiting to be adopted. The Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption is working to help find them a forever family and a permanent home of their own.
Now I have my own room with walls that tell my story. I love hanging out in here. I play dress up with my sisters and I sing and make videos. But the best part, knowing I'll always have a place to go and a family that loves and supports me.
If you have room in your home or your heart, see how you can help at davethomasfoundation.org.
When I was diagnosed with Hodgkin lymphoma, I had so many questions. I didn't even know that it was cancer. Now I do. It is cancer. Blood cancer. It's actually one of more than 100 different types, and they're all treated differently. Now, unlike some other forms of cancer, usually there's no tumor. You can't screen for it to prevent it, and the symptoms can look like other things, so it could be hard to diagnose. I had a fever for weeks. I was so tired all the time. I didn't feel like eating or doing anything else for that matter. And I know that this can feel scary. But if you know what to look out for, you'll know what to tell your doctor. And you'll feel more empowered to take the next steps. Like getting in touch with the people who know the ins and outs and can help with everything blood cancer related. Blood Cancer United. They work one-on-one with each person who reaches out to answer questions and offer resources. Blood Cancer United was there for me, and they can be there for you.
Go to bloodcancerunited.org to learn more.
This Associated Bank Sports Center update on 101.7 The Truth is powered by ESPN Milwaukee. I'm Andrew Zimmel. The Milwaukee Bucks are back in action tonight, traveling to the Alamo City, hoping to bounce back after Tuesday's loss to the Minnesota Timberwolves. Head coach Doc Rivers on facing the San Antonio Spurs.
This next one's going to be a hard game. We're playing a really good team, a young team, and we got to figure out between now and then how much rest we can get our guys to get them back up.
Tip-off is at 7 p.m. And the University of Oakland faces off against the Milwaukee Panthers tonight. This is the last home game before the Panthers go on a 3-game road trip. Tip-off is at 6 p.m. This True Sports Update was brought to you by Associated Bank, proudly supporting your hometown teams, member FDIC.
It is Truth to Power on 101.7 The Truth app, and streaming live on 101.7 The Truth on YouTube.
Truth Nation. Nation, mark your calendars for Friday, February 20th for the second annual Truth Community Awards, hosted by Tory Lowe, Tory Lowe, Homer Blow, and Bailey Coleman, celebrating individuals making a real difference in our community. Tickets are on sale right now. Visit 1017thetruthAwards.com. That's 1017truthAwards.com to learn more. The Truth Community Awards are sponsored by Milwaukee College Prep, the Milwaukee Bucks, Gruber Law Offices, Steinhoffels, Cousin Subs, and Venue 3 at the 3rd Street Market Hall. It is Truth to Power Kyle Walls right here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. You can watch and stream us live on YouTube by going to 1017 The Truth on YouTube. That is 1017 The Truth on YouTube. And we're talking about a sad death of Corey Stingley that happened 13 years ago. And his father has been fighting for justice for years. And if you go to 1017 The Truth on YouTube, actually Melody talked about his father's passion and determination on the Tory Lowe show are worth repeating. Profound. He's come on the show, he's talked about it, and you can feel the pain that he's going through. And again, it's unimaginable having to deal with that type of loss and that type of pain. I recently was last week, I might have mentioned it. Last week I got a text message from my kind of like my uncle, basically. He's my uncle. And it was a text message of my cousin who passed away at the age of 28 from brain cancer back in 2001. And it was a text message of music that he made in the 90s. He used to make hip-hop music. My cousin Pookie did. And, you know, the fact that he was 28 years old when he died, and now I'm 35 years old going on 36. When he died, I was just like, oh, man, I thought he was old. Not old, but like I knew he was young, but I thought, oh, man, 28. But then you realize how young somebody is and how much life they missed out on. And I know how much it hurt my family at the time and still to this day to lose somebody at the age of 28. So I can only imagine what it's like to lose somebody at the age of 16. I just hope one day, if I'm ever blessed with children, I never have to face that type of heartache, that type of pain. I just don't know how I would be able to make it through facing that type of pain. Having to watch on camera somebody kill my child but then get no justice and have to fight. I have to dig deep. I have to find the loopholes. I have to find how I can get some type of justice. Not the people that my tax dollars go to find some type of justice. It shouldn't have been on Craig Stingley, the father of Corey Stingley, to dig this deep for 13 years to try to find a way to bring some type of charges against these men. That shouldn't have been on him. He shouldn't have to hire attorneys and do all this extra stuff. It should have been something that our justice system was able to vet and find and get them some type of justice. But again, I think as somebody called in said, it all depends on who gets victimized for them to put a certain amount of energy into something. And yes, you have to use race as an example because if a white girl was to get choked out like that by a black officer, the whole damn city would be up in arms. Let somebody go out to Sheboygan, Wisconsin, and let a white police officer, or Bumstead, let some folks in the store choke out a white girl, a little white boy who's a 16-year-old in the stores. Oh, they bringing charges. They going to bring charges first, and then they going to let the court system figure things out. Let 12 people of your peers, jurors, figure out whether or not you're guilty or not. That's just the facts of life. It really is. But 833-212-1017, Al in Milwaukee, what are your thoughts on this conversation today?
Well, when it comes to the justice system, you know it's always going to be a level of bias. Because, you know, if you do something wrong and you're white, it's going to be right. And you know the sentencing is going to be probably next to nothing. You know, so I say it like this. Either we seen as Steve something to shoot or something to rape. But it's very rare you're seen as an individual or a person. And I'll just leave it at that. But I'm glad the father got his justice. But do we even really get justice? We're supposed to be land of the free, home of the brave, where we all supposed to be created equal. But yet, what we see is not equality. Have a great day.
Thank you, Al. No, I that's one thing that I agree with, and I'll touch on that. Do we ever really get justice? Do we ever really get justice? I think that is quite the thought. But before we continue on, I do want to go into the chat here again. You can watch and stream us live on YouTube by going to 1017 The Truth on YouTube. And B. Bruce said, yes, he said Chisholm had no motivation from the jump start, and that is Chisholm to try to bring charges. Melody said all the guys involved in a different case got off with light convictions when it came to Devontae Mitchell. Someone asked, good afternoon, can the father sue the guys who were involved? That is a great question. I'm not 100% sure. I just know he pursued this avenue of trying to bring some type of charges. And again, when I look at this, I just think about what makes you not believe and trust in America. I don't know about you, Rhea, as being a black woman. Are there ever times where you just feel like, man, this country that I love, I do, it just feels like we always get an unfair shake in America. Do you also?
Absolutely. 1,000%.
I just feel like we as black people are so downtrodden and we get treated so wrongly. And it's not even like intentional, but just the things we have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. Whenever I see on social media, when I see stuff on social media where people say they leave, when they get into their car, they finally leave work and they can finally be their full black self. And let me tell you, I am my black self, but I will be I'm a little bit different outside of the workplace because it's a professional setting. I'm not, hello, how you guys doing? I'm Kyle Wallace. I ain't doing that upstairs. By no means. But I do keep it professional. I enjoy letting loose because sometimes you feel like you have to alter your natural state. I can't always keep it 100. Matter of fact, I tell this on air how I kept it 100 for a quick second. Somebody on ESPN, they was, Chicago fans are very mad at me. Very, very mad at me. And so they said I had a chest. They said I got some cups. And I said, oh, wow. I said, oh, you talking crazy. And then, I got a little bit defensive. And I said, bro, send your picture what your bra look like. And I guarantee you I can slide in her DMs and she'll respond. And all the people I work with, they were just like, oh, whoa. They said, we didn't expect that response. That was a little bit more to it, but it was a little bit just more of like a more casual response that I might give on a day-to-day basis to somebody outside of the workplace. Versus, being the bigger person in most situations. Why are you looking like that, Rhea?
Oh, I feel like I get that energy from you.
We feel you get what energy from me?
The mess around and find out energy.
Oh, well, yeah, because you black. With you, listen, I keep it 100 with you. With everything. That's the way that I got to keep it. But just overall, being African American in America can be extremely draining. That is one of the things that it can be extremely draining. And I made a decision years ago is that coming up the way that I did in the school I went to, it was two worlds that you were really living in. And I didn't the amount of money some of them folks have that I went to school with, I can't even fathom. Like at that time I knew they had money, but now as you get older, you realize like. I used to joke about trust fund babies. Like, I used to joke about, oh, man, I want me a trust fund baby. Because all them kids I went to school with got trust funds. And I was like, I want me a trust fund baby. I didn't realize what trust fund baby really meant. I didn't realize at a certain age, you just got a check just coming in. You ain't even got to do nothing. You just got money coming in. I'm just like, wait, what?
It's live and breathe.
And so, granted, that isn't the reality for most Americans. It is not. But that is it's draining being in these other environments where we can't always just naturally be ourselves without having to be judged. Because even around here, when I get a little bit of, as Rhea said, if I get a little frustrated with folks and I just get real direct, I don't really do the whole, all right, well, let's figure things out here. When I do the, listen, y'all dropped the ball. Listen, okay, if that's what y'all going to do, that's fine. I'm just letting you know. Then everybody get offended. I rub people the wrong way. Oh. Rhea was all scared last week. Oh, my gosh, Kyle. It be your own people, too, sometimes. I don't know why she laughing. Rhea over her laughing because she know dang well. She said, oh, I don't want to say anything to you. A brother can't
do.
A brother can't get mad?
You did what you had to do.
A brother get mad and all of a sudden I'm the angry black man, I tell you. But 833-212-1017. I'll share my final thoughts on the other side when it comes to the sad tragedy that happened with Corey Stingley and how we as a community just need to understand what the lessons that we learned out of this. Keep it locked. This is Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace. But before we do go, it starts with a spark, and at Milwaukee College Prep, that spark turns into something extraordinary. From age 3 through 8th grade, MCP nurtures brilliance, building scholars with knowledge, character, and confidence. 88% of students face economic hardships, but that doesn't define them because at MCP, every child's potential shines. With their 4 campuses, 1 powerful mission, college and mission, college and beyond, Milwaukee College Prep is free, high-performing, and open to all Milwaukee families. Visit MilwaukeeCollegePrep.com to enroll or get involved today. That's MilwaukeeCollegePrep.com, where Milwaukee's future begins to shine. This is Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace. Somebody said, where did you go to school where they had all these trust babies? Whitefish Bay. Listen. Great education. Them folks who live on the east side, lots of money. Lots of money. It is. I didn't. My brother had more white friends than I did because it was probably legitimately. There was probably 10 black kids in his grade, like for real, where it was 20 black boys in my grade and another 20 black. So it was like 40, 50 of us. So we rolled deep. We rolled extra deep. I still got white friends, but they wasn't rich like that. There's some rich ones. I went to school with the Grubers, and y'all know Grubers got money now. Y'all see them. Went to school with the Havishes, or one of them, the granddaughter. Got money. Went to school with some another attorney as well. Went to school with some doctors. They got money. But keep it locked. We'll wrap up the show on the other side.
You are listening to Truth to Power on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and streaming live on 101.7 The Truth on YouTube. On Thursday night, the Milwaukee Panthers look to make it 2 wins in a row as they welcome the Oakland University Grizzlies to the UWM Panther Arena.
Triple White on a drive and a pass back to the wing. Dixon darts, kicks, Franklin for 3, yes! Dixon step back, 3 ball is good. Josh Dixon.
Scott Warris has the coverage Thursday starting at 5:30 p.m. on 101.7 The Truth and the Milwaukee Panthers Sports Network from Learfield. Tip-off happens at 6 o'clock.
Life's better with American Family Insurance because we know you love working weekends. If it means working on your dream home, both inside and out. And we're here to help protect those dreams so you can enjoy peace of mind. Save up to 40% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on where you purchase insurance and by state. Some exclusions apply. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
It starts with a spark. At Milwaukee College Prep, they nurture that spark from age 3 through 8th grade, building scholars with knowledge, character, and confidence. 88% of their students face economic hardship, but that does not define them. At MCP, they see students' potential, and they help them live up to that potential. 4 campuses, 1 mission, college and beyond. MCP is free, high-performing, and open to all Milwaukee families. Visit MilwaukeeCollegePrep.com to enroll or get involved. That's MilwaukeeCollegePrep.com.
Did you forget the first day of school is this week and little Nancy still needs her name embroidered on her backpack? Or the company shirts are due now, not next week? Maybe the boss just declared Steve's retirement party is today and the shirts are mandatory? Whatever the rush, Big Frog Custom T-shirts and more in Mequon has got you covered. With fast turnarounds, no minimums, eco-friendly printing, and high-quality custom apparel, Big Frog brings your custom ideas to life fast. Stop by Big Frog in Mequon or visit bigfrog.com/Mequon. Big Frog Custom T-shirts and more, where your ideas leap to life.
Many of our most important memories are made at school. But for children like Victoria, the classroom can be a place of fear and isolation. She wore a bandage over her cleft every day, too shy to speak, too afraid to smile. Everything changed after one life-transforming surgery made possible by Smile Train. Today, Victoria's smile lights up her classroom, a symbol of confidence, connection, and new beginnings. Due to stigma, children with untreated clefts often miss out on school entirely. But thanks to Smile Train, students like Victoria are stepping into the classroom, raising their hands, and finding their voice. Smile Train partners with local experts to support with free cleft surgeries and other comprehensive care, empowering children to thrive in school and in life. Let's help every child walk into the classroom with confidence. Visit smiletrain.org/learn.
You are listening to Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace on 101.7 The Truth and the Truth app. Catch Truth to Power every weekday from noon to 1 p.m.
I forgot. Oh, this is Truth to Power here on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth. I forgot I'm supposed to be wearing Broncos gear tomorrow.
Why?
Because I usually plan out what I'm wearing throughout the week, and I probably would have been a little bit more casual today. I still have on, like, dress pants today. Probably been a little bit more casual if I would have remembered that I'm wearing Bronco stuff tomorrow.
I'm sorry for you.
No, what are you sorry for me for?
I don't know. You just messed your outfit up.
No, that's fine. I look fine. Some would say I look fine, and I know one person that say I look fine. My baby always think I look fine.
That's good.
She tell me that every single day. Every single day. I'm loved. What can I say? But this is Truth to Power here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. Y'all can watch and stream us live on YouTube by going to 1017 The Truth on YouTube, where you can give us a like, give us a share, and give us a subscribe so you don't miss any of our award-winning 1017 The Truth shows. We've been talking about the sad, tragic death of Corey Stingley today that happened 13 years ago, but more importantly is that his father, Craig, has been working extremely hard to try to bring some type of justice. And finally, these men who killed Corey Stingley, the 16-year-old who was at a convenience store in West Dallas where he was trying to steal liquor. He ended up getting caught, gave the liquor bottle up, then he tried to run out. These men tackled him, ended up choking him to death and killing him, and they were never charges were never brought. But his father was able to find a specific rule and law that was able to bring charges, restorative justice charges, to these men. And in the agreement, the men that did kill his son will now be spending 6 months on probation, and if they do nothing in 6 months, then they'll basically be clean after that, and they may have to do some volunteering. And the question I asked was, is that justice? Is justice being served? In my opinion, no. But again, if this is what his father is okay with, then I'm happy that his father gets some peace with that. But I do think, again, as people said on the Truth Talking text line, said in YouTube, is that it sends the wrong message. To me, it sends the wrong message that you can kill somebody and you can get away with it. And I'm not saying that these men should be in prison for the rest of their lives, but what I'm saying is if you accidentally kill somebody, there are laws on the books where involuntary manslaughter or whatever it is, I'm not an attorney or a district attorney or a prosecutor or any of that, but there has to be laws on the book where if somebody gets killed, they can be charged. The people that killed that person should be able to get charged with something, even if it was an accident. This should have definitely went to trial where you allow for a jury to determine whether or not these people were guilty or not. That's what should have happened. Nobody should ever die this way over a couple dollars worth of liquor where somebody chokes you out and kills you. That is excessive force that was used. And for 13 years, no justice was served. And though, again, I may disagree with this being justice served, shout out to the family for continuing to fight and get what they believe is right. And I will pray for the family, and you should as well. This is Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. The Tory Lowe Show is up next from 1 to 4. Truth Nation, I thank y'all. I love y'all. And I'll talk to y'all tomorrow.
Get yourself together and bang your monkey so slaughter. Get on up. Get yourself together, damn that monkey so. Leon, get yourself together and bang your monkey so.
He's the voice for the people.